Hello, this is Cryptolyze. I hope you are well. This Wednesday, 29 November 2023. We meet today to talk about GALA Games crypto. As usual, we will dissect this video into two parts. Fundamental part, we are going to come back to what GALA is, to GALA Game, their news, because it is still very folkloric. You'll see there are lots of things to see. And then the technical analysis, where we will project the short, medium, long term on the charts for purchase prices and sale prices. It starts right away. As a reminder, you always have the possibility of having free access to the educational course, which is a 60-hour training worth €400, which allows you to learn blockchain, crypto, investment, analysis technique, trading, everything to become profitable. Through 130 videos, 400 pages of guides, quizzes to find out where you are in your progress, and all for free. To have access to this lifelong training, simply use the platform of one of our partners. Everything is explained in the comments and descriptions. We will start by recalling what GALA Games is. So above all, it is a video game development studio, but which also publishes video games through its marketplace, in which it greatly uses crypto, NFTs, to be able to design and monetize its video games. In this case, this is something that was very strongly pushed at the end of 2021, notably with the rename of Facebook as a Meta, in which everything that revolved around gaming and the metaverse in general had a phenomenal valuation, where behind we also had the use of NFTs really in video games and the valuation of digital objects in these video games. And precisely, GALA Games has made it its specialty, and it is really the brand of the studio above, in which we see here their home page, where we still have quite a few games which are available, and behind it immediately, the releases of different games or items or NFTs which are directly linked to the different games they may have. They built their business model. They are really built on the notion of Web3 and the notion of deploying video games in Web3. They are not intended, in any case they have not communicated, to offer their capacity to be able to offer the Web3 to web games. 2. Okay, like Immutable X can do, or like other structures that are really specialized can do. In the infrastructure section. No, GALA Games said to themselves, okay, at that moment, what we are going to do is that we are going to buy Web2 games, or we are going to develop Web3 games directly, and we are going to integrate the NFTs and the entire cryptocurrency part directly with a separate business model. This also means that they are in direct confrontation and opposition with big studios, as we can find on Activision, etc. So we are really in competition with those. Besides, we had two big news in 2023. First big news, a takeover of a mobile video game studio with more than 20 million users. So, which is rather positive. Purchase, which was very substantial, and which gave a big acceleration in the price. We'll come back to this, I'll tell you what I said at the time. And we will see that we are really not far away. Is it important? Yes, because at some point we need to increase their capacity. Clearly they will not be able to compete with Activision or AAA. But on the other hand, they can very easily find a place for themselves, particularly in mobile gaming, and we will see precisely in their sets of games where we have still a lot of things that are live. Okay, but above all, a lot of things that are in development. And we see that it is still after PC, Android, iOS, but we see that it is in the form of applications in it, and we are still going to see big names. We still have Battlestar Galactica behind us. We are going to have Walking Dead, so we still have series names that are in it. So that means that they bought part of the license, or at least a part, or a small part of the license, which allows them to doing that, which is rather positive. It shows that they want to invest. But is there going to be a return on investment? It's going to be complicated, especially since it's very complicated at the moment. Since September 3rd, we have information that the co-founders are at war with each other. In this case, there is one who is pursuing the other, that he may have stolen $130 million. So we are really in something that is very complicated in terms of GALA Games to get out of it. Is it one or the other? Or is it both? Clearly the fact that there is a lawsuit between the two will not be positive for GALA Games, regardless of the finality of this lawsuit. And we must understand this well. It is that there, when we have the two directors, who are normally the two thinking heads, the people who push the company, who develop the business, who are in the process of waging war on a story from the past, it implies that they are not working on the future. And that's going to be very complicated to be able to follow. And that's why I'm a little skeptical about the future of GALA Games, and I'm going to explain to you also in terms of the courses why. Clearly, in terms of the courses, you will see that it is not fun, but I am convinced that gaming really has its place in the web. 3. On the other hand, Should it be carried out in the form of a development studio video games or solutions made available to studios already existing in the web too, because we know that it is very complicated to keep a video game studio alive. I think the solution lies on the other side rather than the creation of video games. And that's why I ask myself a lot of questions, and I think I'm not the only one. Technically, we have a big acceleration which was mainly driven by Meta. We can clearly see 15 November 2021. Therefore, the announcement of Meta, the importance, well, in any case, the step of Facebook towards gaming and the metaverse, which has been, moreover, a huge flop, and therefore behind it we had hyper-speculation on everything that revolved around gaming and the metaverse with GALA, who gave us a truly colossal expansion to reach a fairly high 88th here. And then we did a classic ABC retracement with behind a BC Arkansas ST, so W therefore a distribution of Wyckoff with a very classic three-step retracement. Then we are in the sign of weakness. What is sign of weakness? It's an accumulation of Wyckoff, which is also rather classic, in which we had a first low which was carried out here on May 9th, so which is Terra Luna. We had Celsius, and after Celsius we did not have any consolidation of the lateralization. We had behind a bearish breakout, very strong, in which we clearly had a dilution. Is it in fact a sale of tokens to be able to make purchases? Because there the upward acceleration is the purchase of the studio, okay? It's not a bull run, it's nothing other than speculation on the purchase of the studio, plus a market which was rather favorable at the start of the year, 2023. So here we are really in a dynamic where, at that time I told you be careful, this is purely speculation. And if you bought at the bottom, consider taking profits when you get to this level, and GT. Because at some point we will return to the lower part or even break it, because this is only speculation. It is positive, but it is not actually sufficient in the design of the business model. This is a first step, and the reaction is too strong to this news. And we can clearly see that we went to retest, in fact search for the lower part, and we can clearly see that in fact we have the new part which has brought us back up, but then we still have this downward pressure of dilution which is very strong. And we can clearly see that the rupture and the break-off structure that we had there was swallowed up by the bearish breakout we had there. So for me, we are still in bearish. I have no sign of reversal. Even here in the bullish acceleration that we have been experiencing since these last few days, we haven't been able to pass this level, okay? We still can't break this very important level. We don't consolidate above it. We have difficulty even closing above it or even touching it. Namely, what is this candle? It is the SEC. Namely, that GALA still has a possibility of also being in the list of cryptos has been processed by the SEC. So we risk having once again additional pressure. Namely, that we have rebroke a low. So for me, GALA, not bullish at all. For me, we should at least be able to consolidate above the SEC. And ideally, we should consolidate at the level of the 0.5, okay? As long as we do not consolidate above that, that means that we will not seek sufficient liquidity. Ideally, we would need to break this level. Therefore, the level of the announcement of the takeover of the studio. So go get 6. For me, it is really important to consolidate above. If this is not done, it will be really complicated later. Nevertheless, let's admit, everything is going well. We have a business model that is developing. We have a new narrative around gaming. GALA manages to escape from its image of chasing around the 130 million, which they manage to create the incentive and games that cause carnage, and which manage to push. What can we aim for as a target? That's already a lot of ifs, you agree with me. Already for me, the first target to come out will be here. When we arrive in the 0.25, 0.35 here, clearly this is the area in which a lot of people are stuck with GALAs. So here we will need to go out, and there will be a profit part that will be made, and there will be a lot of people who will lighten their bag. Clearly, I know that there are a lot of people who are stuck with GALAs with almost a minus 60, 70, and who are waiting to come back, to get closer after they come to be able to reduce their exposure. Clearly, I think we will have a lot of trouble getting through this zone. Then, what can we plan for? Already we could say to ourselves that we could go and retest the ATF. Already it would be a very, very big target for me, for the GALA, because it would imply that we would manage to have a business model that works, to have a gaming studio that works, to have in GT, CEOs who manage to work together and who manage to develop the company, and alongside an additional narrative which would allow for speculation around GALA. But in any case, when I see that I have no bullish signs, I have no reversal, I have no lateralization. Classic. We're looking to have something that's lateral. We're not looking to have something that goes down, okay? That cannot be bought. That is sold. Or in any case, we cut losses if we were ever positioned on GALA. Personally, I don't have a GALA, and I no longer intend to have one before I have signs of recovery. Because currently there are too many vectors of fear. There are too many vectors of risk compared to the potential gains that we could have. That's my opinion. Don't hesitate to tell me what you think in the comments, and especially if you like the video. Don't forget to give me a little like. It supports the work I do every day, and we'll see each other again tomorrow 7 for the daily.